All right. Hello, everyone. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. I know that things are continuing to change on a daily basis, but if anything, I'm starting to feel like we're turning the corner on some things with regards to the ongoings in our world and our nation, and so I want to encourage you. I know that we're all seeking normalcy, and I know that we'll eventually get there. So I'm optimistic. I hope you are too. But I miss you, and I hope that you find this short message encouraging. And forgive me, because I'm probably going to read more from my notes today, just so I don't lose my track of thought here. Coincidence or providence? First off, coincidence. Let's define it. It's a remarkable concurrence of events or circumstances without apparent causal connection. Wow, that was a lot of words. The occurrence of events that happen at the same time by accident, but seem to have some connection. We're all familiar with coincidences, right? Maybe we say, oh, that was so by chance or by fate or by destiny, right? For you Star Wars fans out there, Luke, it is your destiny, right? Okay, we've all experienced these situations, haven't we? You're just talking about someone who you haven't seen in years, and you're just talking to them, you're just talking about them, and then you run into them at Costco. Or you were just thinking about someone that you haven't talked to or thought about for a long time, and then your phone rings and it's that person. We all have those situations, right? Those coincidences. A lot of times, these experiences are kind of cool. They're like, wow, what are the chances, right? But as Christians, is there such a thing as coincidence? As a Christ follower, can you just happen to be in the right place at the right time? What about being in the wrong place at the wrong time? And that leads me to providence. So what is providence? Well, it's the protective care of God. Divine guidance or care, divine providence. God is the creator of heaven and earth, and that all that occurs in the universe takes place under divine providence. That is, under God's sovereign guidance and control. So does God control and guide your destiny? Even the people you meet, the places you go, the places you visit, the particular times you visit them? Or are these just coincidences? Or is this providence? It's a big question, isn't it? I think for many people, myself included, we tend to think of or believe the big things in life, the miraculous healing of a family member or maybe yourself, the big job promotion, the big move, getting accepted to the big college, the big game, all the big things, the lottery winnings, right? We all win the lottery. Maybe it's another child you weren't expecting, all the big things in life, all the big blessings. We tend to see those not as coincidences, but as God's care and guidance in our lives, don't we? But what about the little things in life? Ephesians 1:11 says, because we are united with Christ, we have received an inheritance from God. For he chose us in advance, and he makes everything work out according to his plan. Now, two things I note there. Notice that he says everything. Not some things, not big things, not little things, everything. And he says his plan, not your plan, not Spencer's plan, but his plan. Psalm 33:11 says, but the Lord's plans stand firm forever. His intentions can never be shaken. And Isaiah 43:13 says, no one can undo what I have done. Perhaps you aren't familiar with any of those verses, but I bet this next one many of you know by heart. Romans 8:28. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Again, notice it says everything, not just big things. And it says his purpose, not yours and not mine. Brothers and sisters, What I believe the Bible tells us, and what I am beginning to see in my own life, is that there are remarkable occurrences in life. These coincidences aren't coincidences. It's God. It's providence. It's Him weaving things together according to His will, even the little things. Here's a personal example. Back in December, I was preparing to have a little church time as a family. And I was really struggling on what to teach. I didn't know where to go. I was like, God, where do you, I wanted to teach on something that would be exciting and fun for the kids and relevant for the time. So it was December, so maybe I should teach on Christmas. Maybe I should teach on current events. I was really struggling with it. And it was kind of bothering me, it was irritating me, because I just couldn't really come up with where God wanted me to go. I was kind of paralyzed, So I just kind of got to the point where I just won't do anything. But the subject of humility kept coming up. Being humble, it just kept coming, that word, humility, being humble, kept coming up in my head. But to be honest, I didn't want to teach on it. I wasn't excited by it. I didn't really want to study it. I'm just being honest here, folks. And it just didn't seem really relevant. Again, it wasn't my thing. I was kind of meh about the whole thing. Humility, meh. And I remember praying to God that day that we were going to have church at home as a family. I remember praying, God, where do you want us today? I'm really drawing a blank. What do you want me to cover with the kids and Amanda? And it was kind of a silence, but then this kind of feeling at the same time, almost like gnawing at me. Dare I say nagging? Can I say that God was nagging? Is that okay? I hope so. But that's kind of what it felt like. And it was the word humility. Fine, I said to myself. Fine, I'll try to cover humility. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll try to cover humility. I don't have any other better ideas, so I'll try to cover it. So we gather in the living room. Amanda cues up the TV with worship songs. We're streaming worship songs with the lyrics. And she cues up. And what's the first song that pops up? The title, Humble King, by Benton Brown. I don't know if you know that song. It's a beautiful song. Humble King. When I saw the title, I was like, you gotta be kidding me, right? And then the first verse comes in. Here's the verse. Oh, kneel me down again, here at your feet. Show me how much you love humility. I'm sitting there, seriously, Lord? And then the next verse. Spirit be the star that leads me to the humble heart of love I see in you. Wham! I mean, what are the chances, right? This has been the word that's been kind of circling around, and the first song Amanda cues up is Humble King, all about humility. It really hit me. And I was like, what are the chances? But see, it wasn't chance. It was God's care and guidance. It was providence. Now, this little story might not seem like a big thing to you who are listening to this, but it really was a big thing for me. I was literally overwhelmed in that living room. I broke down and I couldn't hold back the tears in front of my wife and kids. Trust me, I wanted to, but it just hit me right between the eyes and just right to the heart. The tears of joy, they were tears of joy, they weren't tears of sadness, because God basically answered. He basically answered me. He's like, hey, I'm here. I hear you. I want you to teach on humility. I'm going to show you that I want you to teach on this subject. Now, this is just one personal example in the past couple of months in my life, but there have been several other things that have happened since. Some of them are fairly what I think most of you that are listening would think would be big events in my job and in my personal life. And I know that those are God. So I want to encourage you today, tomorrow, the rest of the week, the rest of your life, regardless of whether they are little things or big things, I'd like to encourage you to see them not as coincidence, but as providence. A little thing as I was trying to prepare for this message that I read online was, these aren't coincidences, they're God incidences. And I thought that was cute. Remember, his ways are not our ways. His perspective is not our perspective. You know, God's like up there on Mount Pitt, seeing it all, seeing our little piece of the world, the Rogue Valley. He's up there on Mount Pitt. He sees it all, and he sees everything playing out, and he's weaving those things together. Meanwhile, we're down here in the valley, and we're looking through a straw. His perspective is infinite, while ours is finite. So I want to encourage you today to look for God's care and guidance in your life and the lives of others, even if they're the little things. God bless you.